Okay, so I'm going to go over the homework for tonight that has to do with unit rates. So there's actually two worksheets. There's this one, which is page 15 in the binder. All right, and let me grab the other one actually. Hold on one second. Okay, and then the other one looks like this, right? So page 15, page 16. So I'm going to go over page 15, but it's actually page 15, I mean page 15 in the binder. I'm going to go to the back. The homework was 1 through 5, yeah? So we'll need a calculator for this. And remember that you need to pay attention to the wording of the question. So for example, number 1, Jack bought 6 basketballs for $72. What was the price per basketball? This number will be in the numerator, this number will be in the denominator. So, be careful, the price is 72, right? So just because the numbers are in a certain order doesn't mean that's the order that you write it in. And it's not always a bigger number on top either, okay? So we'll have to practice that. So $72, that's price per basketball. So there's 6 basketballs, okay? I'll put little 2 B's there, okay? So then I'm going to divide those two. So I'm going to get on my calculator. I'm actually going to use a calculator that's on my computer. And I'm going to do 72 divided by 6. You can use your phone or a calculator at home that you have. And that's 12. So the answer is $12 per basketball. All right, so there's number 1. This one says, how many, Tracy ran 1,200 meters in 5 minutes. How many meters, oops, I'm going to circle the per part, underline the others. So how many meters per minute did she run? So meters is first, 1,200 meters in 5 minutes. So now you divide that. So if on my computer, I have my 1,200 or 1,200 divided by 5. And again, try to do this as much on your own as possible and then check your answer on the computer, okay? You can always fast forward through my explanations and just check the answer, or you can fast forward to the very end and just copy down the answers, but again, not copy but check. Hopefully you're checking, not just copying down answers, okay? Because then you're not really helping yourself, right? And this is like a 2-minute assignment, so it should not be difficult. All right, so my answer came out to be 240. So 240, and don't forget to write your units, meters per minute. Since I don't have much room, I'm just going to put M per M, which I don't love because you don't know what this M means versus that M, but that's okay. All right, number 3. Mike paid $78 for 3 pizzas. How much did he pay per pizza? So pay is 78, put that on top, and pizza is on the bottom, so 3 pizzas. So let's divide that. So 78 divided by 3 is 26. $26 per pizza. I wonder what kind of pizzas these were, but let's see if that's reasonable. I guess $78 divided by 3, I'm going to double check. That seems right, but always ask yourself if the answer seems reasonable. And if you're not sure, double check. Yeah, it comes out to be $26 per pizza. So this time I'm going to write $26 per pizza, okay? You can use the dollar symbol if you want. Number 4, Isabella flew 840 miles in 120 minutes. How many miles per minute did she fly? So miles goes on top, 840 miles per 120 minutes. All right, so take 840 and divide by 120. 840 divided by 120. That comes out to be 7 miles per minute. 7 miles per minute. And number 5, in 6 days the temperature dropped, which is a negative, okay? 18 degrees. How many degrees per day did the temperature drop? Okay, so we take degrees, so it dropped 18 degrees, so negative 18 degrees, okay, over 6 days. All right, so you divide that. So that's going to be negative 3 degrees per day, all right, because you took the top number, it says degrees per day, so you put the degrees on top and the days on bottom. Okay, so that's number, this is the first part of the homework, just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't have to do the rest, okay, unless you want to, okay. And then we're going to go to the second worksheet, and you had to do the back, all right. So remember what we wrote on the front of our worksheet, that just take every y over x, and since these are proportional, which means they are straight and they go through the origin. You can pick any point that is part of this the line, and you'll find your unit rate. Okay, so we'll go over here. Still going to remember y over x. So this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis, all right? So let's say we have, I've got points per game, so it looks like another one of those points per game questions. Wow, this is not the best graph because it's not showing the vertical part. So I'm going to help you out here. We're going to go from 720 down to 30. Okay, that should be a decent one. So I want you guys to, what you'll do is you'll take 720, that's your y, and divide it by the 30. 720 points and then 30 games. So I'm going to use my calculator, you use yours. Like I said, try to do as much of this as on your own as possible and see if you got it right. So I got 24, so the answer is going to be 24 points per game. Okay, number 2. All right, this is good. You don't see the number here, it's a gap, but if you go from 0 to 16, there's only 1 between them, it's half. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, if that helps you. And then over here, this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I've got a lot of options here, right? One thing that might be a tip is to go for the 1, so that 30 over 1, and then you just, that's your answer, 30. Okay, but let's say there's so many choices here. Why don't you pick one? But let's say I decide to go for 120. So then if I go from 120 to the graph, and then I go down. All right, so this is your y, and this is your x. You're going to divide 120 dollars by 4 hours. Okay, so if you do the division on that, that's going to be $30 per hour. $30 per hour. Okay, that's a decent amount of money if you're earning it. All right, let's go to unit rate, this words per minute. Okay, I would not pick 72 because if I go here, I'm not sure if it's really right there, so let's not do 72. But if you go to 140, that's okay, or 144, it's okay, but then you're like, what's the gap here, right? So if I want to pick a non-gap one, you can go to this one, okay? But this one also, right here, this is actually going by twos, like 0, take 4 and divide by 2, it's 2. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So if you know that about this, you can do 144 divided by 6. But let's say you weren't sure how to fill in the gap, then go find one, 8, that doesn't help me. But if I go to 12, that lines up nicely for the x's and the y, so you could use that, 280 divided by 12. Okay, so let's say I do that, 288 divided by 12, I get 24. 24 what though? Y per x, words per minute. So I'll just put W/M. All right? Now, like I said, you may pick different numbers, but in the end, remember, unit rate for a proportional relation, all of these are proportional, which means that they're linear, they're straight, and they pass through the origin, then it doesn't matter as long as you're picking the correct y and x. So for here, I'm going to choose, well, this one's okay. This one, it's not bad. Like I was looking at this number, at least there's a 180 here, but there's a gap here, but I can tell what that is. But if you're like, well, can we pick one, there's no gap on any of them, like this one works. Okay, so if you go down here, that's a 6, and if you go here, that's a 360. So if you do 360 divided by 6, you end up with, please pause the video anytime to see if you can do the work on your own calculator, but the answer is 60 miles per hour. Okay, number 5. Okay, so already, like, this is lined up in here and here, so let's just pick one where there's no gap. So if you want, you can choose this one, $50,000 every 5 years. Maybe it's like how much money a certain, I don't know, stock might maybe gain, or it could be anything, this context. Anyway, it just gets you thinking. So anyway, so you do the y divided by x. So 50,000 divided by 5 is 10,000, that's 4 zeros, dollars per year. Okay, next one. All right, I would not pick 100 because if I go here, I'm not exactly sure where that is on the x-axis. Let's pick another one that's easy, like this one. Okay, it goes to the 2 on the x-axis, and then where's that? Okay, Well, you can tell that there's a 0 to 100, so this must be halfway is 50. So these must be going up by 50s. So if you want, you can use 250 and then match it with the 2. Or let's see if we have any other options. That looks close, but not quite. It needs to be dead on. Okay, that one and that one. Hey, you can try this one too. 504. If you do 500 divided by 4, you're going to get the same answer as 250 divided by 2. Okay, so let's see. 125. So 125 beats per minute. All right, and then number 7. All right, right away I see this one right here, so I'll go for that. You could have gone this one if you wanted to. Okay, so any of those would have been fine, but 40 divided by 2 is 20. So this was 20 sit-ups per minute, so 20 sit-ups per minute. And then number 8, let's see, this one's a good one, although I'm not sure what the gap is. If it's half of 120, this is a 60. Or you can go this one where there is no gap. So if you pick this one, maybe safer. 120 divided by 12, that is 10 gallons per hour. And then over here, this one already works right here, but so does this one, if you want to use that one, or so does that one, if you want to use that one. This one also works, so you know, looks like all of them. So I'm just going to go with this one for now. If you take 1,600 or 1,600 and divide it by 40, you should get 40. Yeah, so 40 what though? $40 per hour. All right, if you weren't sure what to do with these problems, then I would strongly suggest that you do it over again and you know, listen to the explanations and come in with questions. Also, try coming in for tutoring if you can. All right, this is the end of the video.